Hello all, welcome back to One Pitch Catch. We've finally got through the group stage, the league stage of the T20 World Cup. The Super 8 lineups are in place, the Super 8 groups. The first match is actually day after New Zealand versus Pakistan. The two groups are basically India, South Africa, West Indies, and Zimbabwe. And the other group is Pakistan, New Zealand, England, and Sri Lanka in no particular order. More like I think Group A, A1, A2, and things like that. I think they're calling it X1, X2, or Y1, X1, or something like that. But there's one team missing here, which we over the years we have seen it show up and win a lot of tournaments. They've ruined Afghanistan's plans in the 2023 World Cup. They're in and around semifinals and finals all the time. But although not from a T20 perspective, I think they have overall underachieved in T20s. Ganesh, who are we talking about?
I mean, I think they're not underachieved. I think they give only that much importance to T20, I think. I mean, of course, Australia is whom we are talking about because the way these people, how Stark, Hazelwood, Mitchell, I mean, all these people, how they decide to not to play these T20 leagues, or I mean, even they have, in fact, Stark has retired from T20 cricket to
Yeah,
focus only on ODIs and tests. So I think it trickles down from Cricket Australia to the players also. I think they give the least priority to it, but
maybe.
that is not taking away any credit from Zimbabwe about what they did this time. Of course, Zimbabwe did a great thing. They sprang a huge surprise. I think
Yeah,
Australia still felt that even with injuries and all those things, they can still
correct.
get to the at least to the Super 8 stage. All credit to Zimbabwe for definitely beating them. Not crediting, I mean, not that just because Australia is not paying enough attention to T20, this should not take away credit from what Zimbabwe has done this time. It would have been an India Australia match in Chennai. So it is going to be India Zimbabwe. I think it is going to be comparatively easier for India. But I don't know what is going to happen if they're going to continue
Yeah,
playing off spinners the way that India are playing off
correct.
spin at this point of time, Jagat.
Yeah, and I think the other piece to it was how Sri Lanka also comprehensively outplayed Australia, right? I mean, it seemed like Australia had a chance if they had won maybe against Sri Lanka, but again, Pathu gave absolutely no chance to Australia, and it's very, like I said at the start, it's very rare for a tournament to get to the second stage without Australia in the picture. But anyway, that's it. I mean, this means obviously that Zimbabwe get to be in this bigger league right now. But what about the other teams? Like I kind of think India has been a little scratchy. In a sense, I probably, as an India fan, I probably prefer it that way compared to like 2019, where they were winning almost everything, primarily on the basis of the top three batting. And then when it came to the semifinals, probably also the Australia or the England game, one of those games, also the top
England game.
order. Yeah, the top order got blown away. Again, in the semifinals, the top order got blown away, and then the middle order is exposed. We've seen that quite a few times. But so, in a sense, I'm kind of okay with scratchy start as long as you get your act together. But what have you seen about India?
Yeah, I mean, I think yes, as an India fan, you would want them to do well in the next stages of the tournament. But scratchy start this way. I mean, the under 19 boys had a very scratchy start and they won the World Cup, under 19 World Cup. The Indian women had a very scratchy start and they won the Women's World Cup. So, is it
Not
going to
bad.
repeat with the men also? I'm not sure. Because I mean, under 19 boys didn't lose the game. The women lost
Yeah,
games.
correct. Isn't it?
The women actually lost games that they shouldn't have lost, but then came back and did great in the last two games. But India scratchy. Yes, it is. It's been more than scratchy. I feel. In fact, of all the four games, the one that is built as the mother of all contests was the easiest win for India. Pakistan game was definitely the easiest game that they played because with USA, with Namibia, with Netherlands, I mean, they may not have lost it. Probably USA they could have lost also at 70 for
Yeah,
77 for six.
correct.
But other games, they were in a spot of bother at some point of
Yeah,
time. But if, of course, the inexperience of the opponents and the super experience of the Indian team
correct.
bailed them out, I feel. Um, Pakistan was they were never in a spot of bother with Pakistan. Once the
True.
first 9 overs, the Ishan Kishan innings happened, I think it was completely done. And Pakistan also didn't do any. They didn't help themselves by opting to bowl first on that wicket and bowling choices. Who was bowling the which over? That just didn't help. When Ishan Kishan was going hammer and talks, he kept on bowling leg spinners, Abrar and Shadab, and
Right.
Saim Ayub
In the
was not to
matchups.
be and Saim Ayub was not to be seen. And suddenly when Saim Ayub came, he dismissed Ishan Kishan.
Yeah,
So
correct.
and after that dismissal also he didn't bowl for a long time. Then he came back later to dismiss Tilak Verma and Hardik Pandya in back-to-back balls. So I think the bowling options and all those things, Pakistan could have done better. Maybe if not beating India, I think in beating India for Pakistan is going to be very big in the coming years. I feel.
Yeah, but what about Pakistan in the tournament overall outside of the India match? Like, do you think they have been doing justice to all the talent that they have at their disposal?
I think they were out of they would have almost been out of Super 8's Jaga because given the way they almost lost the game against the Dutch and
Hmm.
so the first game actually their first game
Yeah, yeah, correct.
they were lucky a catch was dropped towards the end last 2 overs 29 or
Correct,
30
correct.
runs they scored so they are not I wouldn't say they are a well-oiled machine even outside of the India game so it is going to be tough for them in the Super 8s is what I feel especially uh, they are again with New Zealand, Sri Lanka, and England. Sri Lanka is playing their Super 8 games at home, and they've been in good form
Yeah,
also. England and New Zealand and England always punch above. New Zealand always punches above their weight. England probably are not punching above their weight because they were also almost they could have lost to any of the three teams,
yeah, correct.
Italy or
Nepal or
Scotland
Italy.
or Nepal. All three teams they could have lost. But again, once they move into the Super Eights, I think they would be a different team. I am assuming
Hopefully,
because
yeah.
they have the power in terms of batting and bowling. So they could be a very big force to reckon with. I would say they would be top favorites from that group to get into the semis. Is my early assumption, Jaga.
Right. But I actually think South Africa has been a bit of a standout so far, right? I mean, I think they've dominated most of the games. Their bowling has been good. If you exclude Rabada's last over against Afghanistan, but overall their bowling has been good. Their batting has also been very, very effective. Uh, so I actually think they're building up a nice momentum. And then I guess the other team is also West Indies, which maybe a decade ago, they were the team from a T20 perspective. They've fallen out over the years, and now they're kind of coming back into the contention. So those could be interesting matchups as well. But yeah, I mean, as the Super 8 stage finishes, just to recap, the top two teams from each of the groups get into the semifinals, and then there's obviously the final. So again, we'll come back to you with some more reviews and summaries over the next week. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah,
Or
I
do you
think
want to just say this is going to be the semi lineup, or we'll
That is
just
too
hold on to
early. I think that's too early to call. But I think if India get their act together, I think South Africa would be the team which would probably be able to stop India. I feel, but India has not got their act together. If they
that?
continue to play the way they played the league games, it is going to be tough against tougher opponents. I feel they've not done. They have not met any tough opponent till now after the first four games.
Yeah,
So
correct.
it is going to be tough. But they are extremely good with adapting to the T20 format, I feel. Because every time they
Yeah,
push into a corner, most of the time they come
correct.
out successful. So they can. But on one note, I hope Abhishek Sharma starts scoring a run.
It's a good start if he scores one,
So,
for sure.
nobody would have expected him to have scored zero World Cup runs at the
Yeah.
start of the Super 8 now.
And
So,
it's not, and on the other hand, it's not like he's batting in. I think all his dismissals have been within the first two balls or something like that.
yeah, yes.
At least he's not wasting balls.
He's not wasting balls. But India will definitely do well once he starts scoring runs. That's very
Yeah, yeah,
unfortunate. In the last 7 games, he's got 5 ducks. That is something
yeah.
that people have found out in him. there is a
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think there's a specific pattern of dismissal. We'll see. I mean, I guess
the
this
last two were
also,
against off spinners. The last two were against off
yeah.
spinners. Hmm.
But not much. I mean, I think he got caught out at different positions, for example. I don't think it was the same type of shot. But I guess this is also leading into like what is Sanju Samson thinking? So what do I need to do to get back is probably what he's thinking. I actually thought, the some of the games against Namibia or Netherlands may have been a good opportunity to give him a go and try and see if he can get back to form. I think he did score pretty well in one of the earlier games.
In
Was
Namibia, I
it
think Namibia game he
Namibia?
played
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
correct, correct.
Abhishek
Yeah.
was sick.
Correct. Yeah. So
Um,
anyway, that's about it in terms of the Super 8 lineup. We'll come back again in a few days' time. Until then, thanks a lot. Please do keep watching and subscribing and leaving us your comments. Thanks a lot.
you